Welcome to the 14th annual celebration of the 30 for the Future Awards, a program of the Greater Akron Chamber. I'm Tyron, and I'm going to serve as your host through this virtual event, and I'm also a past recipient. Now, since 1907, the Greater Akron Chamber has been a driving force in the continual improvement of the region. The Chamber works closely with its 1,500 members made up of businesses that are committed to the improvement of our region's community, economy, and quality of life. Now, normally we're all able to gather for an evening of fun and celebration. Now, this year might look a little different, but we still want to recognize and celebrate our 30 young professionals. And we hope you'll join us throughout this week as we highlight 6 recipients each day at different locations throughout the Greater Akron region. Now, as we all know, staying socially distant and wearing masks are a part of our everyday life. Now, we want to assure you that proper safety precautions were taken during filming at each location. Now, while you won't see masks worn during our interviews, we assure you ample social distancing between individuals was done. And I heard that Steve Millard, president and CEO of the Greater Akron Chamber, was at all the locations getting into some trouble during the filming, and I can't wait to see what he did. Hey, Steve, do you care to give us any hints as to what kind of trouble you got yourself into?
Well, no, not really. I mean, you're going to have to watch to see that. But I got to tell you, sitting there at those filmings, watching those great people talk, there's a lot of content there, and my mind wandered a little bit here and there. But we had fun. I think it was good, and I'm looking forward to everybody seeing, again, these great recipients this year. Tyron, thanks for your willingness to help us host and make this happen this year in a very different way. As president and CEO of the Greater Akron Chamber, I look forward to this event each year. It allows us to really highlight those people who are truly the future of our region. You may have heard Roger Reed last week talk about when he received the H. Peter Berg Leadership Award for Economic Development, the importance of encouraging new leaders, and Phil Maynard talking about, I am really worried about who that next wave of folks aren't. After this last week, I'm not worried at all, because the 30 for the Future are the kind of people who are going to make the difference in our region and take us from where we are to where we can be. 14 years ago, we started this program. We made a commitment to encourage young, talented leaders to become more engaged in the community. And over the years, through the support of our sponsors and our partners, we've evolved the program to continue to celebrate the future leaders of Greater Akron. So this year, we'd love to thank our sponsors, our presenting sponsors, Huntington Bank and Retzel. Thank you for your commitment to these future leaders. Also, our supporting sponsor, United Way of Summit and Medina County. You all do so much for us in the community, and we appreciate what you're doing for these emerging leaders. I'd also like to thank our 2020 committee chair, Amanda Leffler from Browse McDowell, and the entire selection committee. These folks invest time, effort, blood, sweat, tears, everything else to look at the applications, understand who's out there, make some connections, but also help us recognize our winners. So thanks for your time on that. I also want to thank all the venues that opened their doors for our recipients and our filming crew to make it a memorable year. I think I might not be allowed to get back into some of those places, but we had some fun and hopefully make this a memorable program. Thanks to the Akron Zoo, the Akron Rubber Ducks, Stan Hewitt, the Kent State Museum, and Castle Noel. Each of these were unbelievable backdrops to display the diversity of our winners this year, to get some of their personality out, and actually help all of you explore some of these venues that we hope you get back to sometime soon. I also want to personally thank the staff at each venue for working with us and making it easy to work with them and giving everybody a great experience. At this time, I'm going to throw it back to you, Tyron, to get us started.
Thank you, Steve. Now is about the time that I would take my selfie with the room to pose and encourage everyone else to do the same. Now, even though we are virtual, we encourage you to leave congratulatory comments in the chat and post on social media. Just remember that when you post, if you decide to take a selfie, like I just did, and when you post it on social media, be sure to use hashtag 30FTF. Again, hashtag 30FTF so that we can all see them together. Now, I'm honored to return as the host this year. Now, here's a little bit about my history with the 30 for the Future. I think it's probably kind of unique. So I came in 2017 just to support the recipients. And as I said here in 2017, I thought, well, I would like to receive this award. So I came back in 2018 having been a recipient. And as I sat there waiting to go up and receive the award, I said to myself, I would really like to host this award. And so, sure enough, in 2019 it happened. I was hosting. Now, I started to realize the trend that whenever I say at these events kind of sort of comes true. So I decided to start thinking a little bigger. And I said, you know what? Next year, I'd like to receive $1 million. And this year, I'm proud to say that it hasn't happened. We'll blame it on COVID-19. But I did get a stimulus check. Now, without further ado, let's get this show kicked off with our first group at the Akron Zoo. Now, when asked what their favorite zoo animal is, our first group varied from penguins to snow leopards to lions to wolves to camels and giraffes. Now, for me, I like penguins too, but the stuffed kind in the gift shop. They always look the happiest. Right. Now, this group of recipients had the honor of being interviewed by Laura WALLERSTEIN from Retzel and VISH BHATT from United Way of Summit and Medina. Let's hear more about Raven, Andrew, Nicole, Rana, IRIEL, and Alexandra.
Welcome to the Akron Zoo. I'm really happy to be here with all of you today to celebrate the Greater Akron Chamber's 30 for the Future Award winners. I'd like to actually mention Allison Boyd, a past 30 for the Future Award winner, who is our annual giving manager here at the zoo. And I'd also like to give a special acknowledgement to Judge David Hamilton, who is an Akron Zoo board member and a current winner for 30 for the Future this year. 30 for the Future really gives an opportunity to honor young professionals across our community for the hard work and the networking and the leadership and vision that they've shown to this community. The vision that's provided by people who really strongly commit themselves and commit their time, their energy, and their effort to making our community be better can't be underestimated. And young professionals and their importance to this region also can't be underestimated because they are our future. So come and join us now as we go and visit other habitats across this amazing Akron Zoo.
What's your favorite zoo animal?
My favorite zoo animal, I think, would probably, I don't know. I love the penguins because they're so frisky.
All right, this one's a little bit more regional.
Okay.
What's your favorite Greater Akron hangout?
The Rubber Ducks games, we go to those quite often. You know, we make sure we go to a couple games every year. That's a really great introduction, in my opinion, to bring someone unfamiliar with Akron, to bring them into the city and walk Main Street and hang out downtown, grab a bite to eat. It's also very family friendly, so I enjoy that too.
How flexible do you feel you are?
I think I'm quite flexible. I think that the coronavirus, the pandemic that we've all been dealing with, I think that we've all had to evolve. The work at the Akron-Canton Regional Food Bank has probably been more vital now than ever before. I think that we've been able to see that most families are living paycheck to paycheck. Our team has been working around the clock, not only to make sure that people have access to nourishing food, but then also just to tell the stories. So that's my main job at the food bank, is to tell the stories of the people we serve and the work that we do. And I'm hoping that our team has created awareness that there are so many of our neighbors who are struggling with hunger, not only because of the pandemic, but all year round. And so, yeah, I think we've all had to evolve and change the way that we do work, change the way we communicate and interact with one another. But again, the food bank has been on the front lines from the very beginning. So,
Right. Looking into the future, what are you most excited for?
excited to see the change of all of the construction that's taking place downtown and what that will mean for that area. And so I know there have been a lot of focus groups and collaborative meetings to talk about what new businesses are we engaging, who are we attracting to the downtown area. I would love to see affordable housing and a grocery store downtown, right? So we're kind of in a food desert down in the downtown area. And so I think I'm most excited to see what those economic changes look like and how that has a ripple effect, not only for the business community, but also for everybody who calls Akron home.
Where would you rather travel in like a post-pandemic world?
Okay.
Asia or Africa?
I would say Africa. So back a couple World Cups ago, they had it at South Africa. And I just remember seeing it and thinking how incredible it would be to visit there. So I would say Africa, and to go to like Senegal or Ghana, I think would be really cool.
All right. What is your favorite way to chill?
Ooh. So maybe I'm a little untraditional here, but my favorite way to chill is probably just to hang out with my wife and our daughter Scarlett, and then maybe a couple family and friends. Maybe sit out at a patio or something and have a drink and some food.
So what sage advice would you give a young professional?
Yeah, so a young professional, a couple things. One, I would say to try to be a sponge. So, you know, I always tried to soak up whatever leadership or mentorship was given to me from not only my network, but also within my work and also at home. And then two, and this is the biggest thing we say when we hire people, is just to have a positive attitude. Because, you know, you can usually teach somebody the work, but you can't teach somebody to have a good attitude. Either they have a good attitude or they don't. So those would kind of be the two things that stick out to me.
What makes you tick?
I would say I'm mostly just self-motivated. And, you know, there's a book called Find Your Why. And when I read that, I actually found that I'm really driven by fear of disappointing those around me. And so because of that, I try to set really high standards for myself. And then my expectation is kind of like, if I hold myself to a higher standard than others do, then I'm, you know, unlikely to disappoint them in that scenario. So definitely self-motivated.
Who or what has been your most surprising influence in your life?
I would probably say, from an unorthodox leadership standpoint, would probably just be some people at work that maybe were a little different than me and think a little different, and they've really just allowed me to maybe see things from a different perspective. Getting to work in downtown Akron and just getting to experience people that think different, look different, and then just have a different perspective.
I'm Laura Wallerstein. Congratulations to all the 30 for the Future recipients. We're so appreciative of all the hard work you do, the greater Akron community, and Retzel and Andrus is so thrilled to be a sponsor this year of 30 for the Future Week. Congratulations. How many mutual Facebook friends do we have?
15 or 10.
It's actually 5, so
All right.
just thought you might like to know that little quick
Okay.
fact. How do you give back to the community?
I do work at Rahab, and that is giving back to the community because it's a ministry, but it's also my vocation. I also volunteer. I have a heart for kids too. So I teach, we call it Power Kids. It's the children's church every weekend at my church. So just teaching kids not only about the Bible, but about life skills like patience and wisdom and perseverance and things like that. So I get to invest in the next generation, and I've done something like that for a lot of years. So a lot of my volunteer time has to do with kids.
Okay, what is the best gift you've received?
I really don't know, but I think any gift that someone is going to give me that they thought about and just wanted to show me that they care, it matters a lot to me. I kind of love getting gifts. I love giving gifts. So when someone takes the time to try to think about what I care about, that I think is always going to be a good gift.
What did you want to be when you were 12?
Ooh, I think I wanted to be like 6 different things when I was 12. I wanted to be an Olympic equestrian. I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a vet. I wanted to be an artist, which I kind of am on the side. That's what my degree is, and probably a dozen other things. But those are the ones that stick out that I'm like actually looking into schools at 12 years old.
Looking to the future, what are you most excited for?
What am I most excited for? Well, currently I'm most excited for post-COVID. But in seriousness, I'm really excited to see how Rahab grows. I'm excited to see how I grow. I have plans not only to continue my career at Rahab, but to grow my art. And I'm really excited to see my kids grow over the years and be amazing.
What an interesting group of recipients. And we're only halfway through our first day. Let's learn more about the rest of today's featured recipients and our honorary furry recipients at the zoo. Stay tuned.
So in a post-pandemic world, right, where would you rather travel? Africa or Asia?
I would have to say Asia. Jordan is in Asia, and that's where I was born. So I'm gonna go with Asia.
What do you want your legacy to be?
I want people to remember me as somebody who fought for the little guy, and people who don't expect you to do things for them. Those are the people that I really want to be able to touch, especially the immigrant community, the young community. I really like being involved with them because sometimes they just surprise you with what they're looking for, and just a little bit of piece of advice and a little kindness goes a long way with them.
What is the best business advice you have ever received?
To be genuine. In my job, I've had different interactions, different meetings with different groups of people, whether it's, elected officials or IT. Be who you are. Don't change yourself for the setting that you're in. Stay true to your path and don't let your surroundings change you.
Looking into the future, what are you most excited for?
For people to have the ability to meet again, for families to be able to meet again, for friends to hug each other and be around each other without any care or concern. This has been a very tough year for people, and that just genuine human touch, we're all missing out on that. And just being able to interact and go, have a cup of coffee with more than 10 of your friends. And just getting together with people, especially family. I know a couple people in my family that I haven't seen in quite a while. That's the one thing that I look forward to the future, where just one day you wake up and you say, you know what, I want to go see my aunt, and be able to go do that and not have to be concerned about your health and their health.
VISH BHATT. I'm the Vice President of Community Impact at United Way of Summit in Medina. We're thrilled to be a sponsor for this wonderful event that the Greater Akron Chamber hosts. I know how much it's meant as a previous recipient of 30 for the Future, really just to see this incredible group of young leaders this year and on for the future, and how we can shape Akron and the Greater Akron area.
Okay, so today we're at the lion exhibit at the Akron Zoo, and this is special for you because?
Because I'm a Leo, and I love the lion because they're the king of the jungle. They're a leader, and so am I.
So we don't even have to ask you what your favorite zoo animal is, because now we know.
Yes.
Thank you. What should we do to keep good talent here in Akron?
Make wages competitive, so people would want to stay here and make a good living for their families. Also, I think people really like attractions and family places they can go. And I think just the steady progression of just the wonderful programs we already have in Akron, keeping them alive.
So with your work, does that inform some of your responses to that question?
Absolutely, because one of my jobs is to make sure I serve the community and enhance Akron in any way possible. And so to do that, I really have to understand what the people want and what they need and what will keep them here.
Who is your most influential role model and why?
I would say my mom. She was just an awesome person while she was here. She really cared about a lot of people and just taught me it's all about what you can do for other people and not what you can acquire or do for yourself. And so I think that was just a foundational principle that helped me not only in my relationships, but in my work. And it also keeps me grounded in terms of keeping a really humble perspective.
Now something more fun. What is your business pet peeve?
My business pet peeve is not replying to emails. If I send you something, I don't expect you to necessarily reply back right away. But you never want to get that double email of like, hey, did you get my message? So I would say that that's probably my biggest pet peeve.
The, hey, I'm just following up, just on my previous email that I sent.
Right.
Where would you rather travel, Asia or Africa?
If I had to choose between Asia or Africa, I would pick Africa. There's just something about visiting the desert that's been on my bucket list, so I think Africa would be a great choice.
What is something that you are passionate about?
Something that I am passionate about is specifically crime victim rates, but an extension of that is working with marginalized populations, a particular initiative of mine that I'm very passionate about is the LGBTQ movement.
What is the most significant way that you can help shape Greater Akron's future?
The best way to be involved in shaping the Greater Akron's future is to simply be involved, to be engaged, to ask questions. Something that I'm very passionate about is strategic collaborative partnerships. So if you notice something, that if there's a need in the community, ask around, see what exists. If something doesn't exist, then advocate to make that happen.
What is your most favorite aspect of your job?
My favorite aspect of my job is helping people throughout sometimes the most difficult times in their lives. I would imagine that oftentimes when we're meeting victims who have experienced a crime or a trauma, it's probably up there on the list of some of the more difficult times in their life. So really to be able to connect with people right away and to be that ear and that shoulder to lean on just to help them navigate, the following days, weeks, and months.
Wow, what an impressive group to kick off this week. I cannot wait to see what the next 4 days hold. Now, hey, I hope you will join us each day at noon. If you have not registered for the rest of the week, go to greaterakronchamber.org/connect and look under the events tab for each day's registration. Hey, again, I'm Tyron. I had a great time hanging out with you today, and I hope to see you tomorrow. Glad we could be together apart.